Now, when we talk about hearing, as you mentioned, it's more prevalent in the older generation, but what about the younger generation? What happens for children who as young as 5 may have a hearing problem? And would you be able to tell the viewers maybe what the cause of that would be?
Very often in children, and it's not just at the age of 5, but many below that are actually born with a hearing loss.
Oh.
There are certain conditions that can affect the mother while she's pregnant. So if the taking of alcohol, drugs or cigarettes when somebody's pregnant can affect the baby while it's still in the womb. So, of course, these days most girls are vaccinated against rubella, etc. That's one of the commonest causes of blindness and deafness in children. So also trauma at birth, so anything where the child is deprived of oxygen, etc. This can also cause it. Sometimes there is no cause. Sometimes there's no explanation, no definitive cause for it. The child is just born deaf or born with a hearing impairment. I recently came across a child at 7 years old who throughout his whole life, people had felt that he was a bit slow, and because he didn't communicate very well with people. He used to sit in front of the TV. And it wasn't until he went to school for the first time at 7 that the teacher, who of course being a bit more experienced, thought, maybe this child has a hearing loss. So advised the parents to take him for a hearing test. And sure enough, he had a hearing impairment.
Oh, wow.
So now he's wearing 2 bright red hearing aids, which he's very happy with. But he's able to interact in the school very well. The teacher says he's doing very well. And the poor parents, they just didn't realise. So this boy had missed kind of a lot of the first 7 years of his life because they just didn't know.
They didn't know when they thought he was a slow child.
Yeah, sadly.
Right.
So, but he's not at all. So.
Wonderful. Now, what happens, or rather, what can you advise parents out there? It's not like a lot of parents would take their children to a person who can, check whether they've got a hearing problem or not. Oftentimes, we take a child to go for a flu or a fever and a tetanus shot, but not hearing aid assistance. What would your advice be to parents out there? Do you think that this is something regular we should do?
I think hearing loss is quite common in children, and there can be lots of different reasons for it. When children are around the age of 8, 9 or 10, a lot of them develop a condition known as glue ear. It's very common, affects about 10% of children. So I think the thing is, if parents notice that their child is seemingly not paying attention to things very much, if they start to struggle in the classroom, if they turn the television loud, or they seem to concentrate too much on it, then they should just simply take the child and have the hearing tested. They can bring them along to us if they can't find anywhere else. If people need to contact us, they can find us on Facebook. So we're happy to help, because I think it's really important that we try and prevent situations like the one I dealt with not so long ago, where this boy is just missing out on life.
Okay, now for the big question, the cost involved.
All these lovely, cool-looking gadgets.
Starting from the consultation,
Okay, well, the consultation, actually, we don't charge for. Because, again, I think it's very important that people get access to help rather than putting barriers in front of them. In Malaysia, hearing aids start at about 900 ringgit and can go up to 10, 11,000 or so.
Depending on how...
Depending on the complexity. I think the thing is, it's really determined by people's lifestyle. So if somebody's still working, still very active, they need more help with their hearing. If somebody's leading a quiet life and not going around too much, then they need less assistance. So really it's very lifestyle dependent.
Okay. Now when you talk about hearing aid, Clarisound has been in Malaysia for a while. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about Clarisound itself and why, or what got you mooted to start in Malaysia.
Actually, the company, I helped set the company up for somebody else. I've been a hearing aid ologist for 20 years or so. I know I don't look I helped somebody set up the company and then was involved in it on and off for a period of, say, 9 years or so. So a couple of years ago, we sat down and I had the idea to buy the company and expand it, which I did, and we are now in the process of expanding first throughout Malaysia, and then we'll probably take it into other countries as well.
Fantastic. How has the response been?
Very good.
Yeah?
Very good indeed, yeah. I like to think that we bring a more personalised level of service, a high degree of expertise, and offer things that, it's not easy for people to find in other places in Malaysia.
Fantastic.
Right, so where can we go to sum it up?
You can go to Facebook, look for Clarisound, and then everybody can find all the details of how to contact us, etc.
All right.
All right, now for you out there, if you want to know more about Clarisound, 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 you'll have more about that. Kieran will be there for you to talk to if you want to know more about
That's
it.
right. Help us here.
Yeah, Kieran, we'd like to thank you very much for coming on board
pleasure.
and
Thank you
talking
very
to
much
us
for
about
having
these gadgets and lovely aids. Well, don't go away because we still have another guest in the studio, so we'll tell you more about Mind Create 2010. Stay with us, Malaysia.
That's a forum that's going to be happening shortly. Thank you.